Hello YouTube, InsaneJ here. Today you can learn how to make your very own Minecraft multiplayer plugin. This is very easy to do as long as you've done it once or twice before and have that experience under your belt. So, for those out there who aren't willing to go through the miles and miles of tutorials and discussions about it that are very complex, I'm just going to give you the tools you need right now. Now, I'm not going to copy and paste at all in this tutorial. I'm not going to use any online documentation. I'm not going to do anything that someone who hasn't been making plugins for years wouldn't do. So, let's get started. First, in order to create a plugin, you need to download two resources. First one is Eclipse. Now, this allows you to program in Java very easily for free using a lot of useful tools. So, go to eclipse.org. and download Eclipse Classic. I like Eclipse Classic, but for people out there who've been writing Java or just coding for years, they might have a different coder as their preference. They might have a different version of Eclipse as their preference, but I don't care. I'm just going to use Eclipse Classic for now. So you can download over here, go through all the links once you click that and download it. And once you're done downloading that, you want to go to a special website. Let's see, it's Bucket Jenkins. Oh, there it is. Here it is. It's ci.bucket.org. So you can just go to ci.bucket.org and then hit dev bucket. You don't have to type in the slashes if you don't want to. And then click the latest artifact. Now, right now I'm using version, what is this? It looks like it's version 760. If a version is like 800 something, or if the version is something completely different when you go to this at home, that means that there's been a major update since this video, and things might not 100% work, but they should, and if they don't, go through this tutorial and then check out some of my more recent videos and I should have an update. So download this, and I'm going to plop it onto my desktop. So now that you have Eclipse downloaded on your computer, and this bucket downloaded on your computer, you should be set. Open up your Eclipse. I put it in my dock right there. You can open it from wherever you downloaded it. I suggest installing it, but it's up to you. And time to get started. So in order to start programming in Java, you really need to make a Java project. And I'm going to call this Block Changer, because the plugin I'm thinking about making right now for you guys is a plugin where the user types in a command like /blockchanger, and it says, ooh, block changer's been activated, and you hit any block in the world except for air, and it'll change that block into like wool or brick or whatever whatever I want, or whatever the coder wants, whatever you want. Maybe at the end of this video I'll show you how to make it so whatever the user wants it'll change into. But for now, let's start with the basics. So if you try to open up all this stuff, there should be nothing here, and that's good. So first we want to right click the package, and we want to go into properties in order to import that bucket thing we downloaded. And we need to go to Java build path right here. And for Windows and Linux, it should be fairly similar. And you want to add external jars. And here I'm already on my desktop. I just want to hit bucket.jar, plop that in there, hit OK, and it should pop up right there. So now if I hit this arrow, everything retracts, everything expands. I have all the source code here. And if you don't know what bucket.jar is, that's like all the code Bucket needs to run a server. And to make a Minecraft multiplayer plugin, you can't just use Minecraft server like what you download from Minecraft.net. You have to use something like Bucket, and that's what I'm using now. Now I'm going to make the package, it's called. I'm going to make it so that we're starting to create plugins instead of just random Java files. So in this source right here, I'm going to right click and add a new package, and I'm going to call it me.insanej.blockchanger. Now the proper way to organize your plugin is to do what Bucket likes. So you want me.yourname, so it could be like Edward, it could be like William, it could be whatever you want, it could be your online name, it could be anything you want. And then the thing to do after that is to put the name of your plugin. Now you don't necessarily have to make it this exact syntax, but I can't guarantee things will work if you don't. Now it should pop up. It's white because there's nothing inside the package, it's an empty package. And now we can right click that and add new class, and it should be brown after making it. So Block Changer, I'm just calling it Block Changer. This will be like all your main code. So instead of calling it something strange, I'm just calling it the name of the plugin. Alright, so now this is brown because it's a full package and it has a class in it. So let's get started. So the code right now is automatically generated by Eclipse. This is declaring that it's inside of a package, and it's to use the whole bundle. And this is saying it's a class. And since everything in Java is object-oriented, you can think of a class as being like the big object. It's like we're defining all the properties for like a ball or an egg or like a TV. So we want like, oh, what color is it? Oh, what does it do when I throw it? You need all the properties for that ball, for that class in here. So hopefully that analogy made sense to you. It doesn't make sense all the time. So now that we're in here, we need to make 3 methods, they're called. And methods are like throwing a ball. Methods aren't like what the ball's color is, it's the action. It's an action, it's a function. So if you don't understand that, doesn't matter, it's code. You're going to have to learn it one time if you want to keep doing this. So we need to type in @override. And what this does is, I believe you can just think of it as telling the Bukkit server that when it starts reading this, when this plugin's enabled, override whatever it thinks it should do. Just override all that stuff and do what I'm telling it to do. That wasn't a very good explanation, but it doesn't matter. So it's called onEnable. So what this method does right now is it just says, when this plugin's enabled, do what's inside these brackets. And now, similarly, we need to make onDisable. So when this plugin's disabled, what do we do? So if you've ever run a server, you should see that whenever you start up a server and you have plugins, it says like, oh, permissions has been enabled. Oh, like all the plugin names have been enabled. Most of the time it does that. And now one final thing, you don't have to do this if you don't want commands, but today we're making commands. We're making public boolean, and a boolean is just a certain type of data that can only be either true or false. It's kind of confusing, doesn't really exist in the real world. You can just act as if this method is going to be like asking the server a true or false question, and it needs to get an answer that's true or false. Not like, maybe, can't do that. So we're calling this onCommand, so when there is a command. And we need a couple parameters here. So this is like if you're throwing a ball, what's the velocity? Where are you throwing it? Like, you need to give other information. You can't just be like, a ball's thrown. So here we have the sender, so it's the sender of the command. Command CMD, that's like what the command actually is. String command label, that's like the label that's given to a command. So like if you want to type in /time, time would be the label. That's the first word after the slash. And then string, and then these 2 square brackets, and we can just call this args. So we have the sender of the command itself, the label that is given to the command, like permissions or replicator, and then args. So this is like if you type in /time set after that, and then 0, like /time space set space 0, then set and 0 would be arguments to time. They would be not the command, they're not the actual command, they're different information that the user gave. And then put brackets. And we should get 3 or 4 errors here. Oh, just 3. So now if we highlight over onEnabled, it wants us to remove that. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is we want to go up here and type in extends Java plugin. And Java plugin, well, it should make sense. This is a block changer, and extends is like is called inheritance. What it does is it takes all the information from Java plugin, and it's as if I wrote all that code. You don't need to understand that too much. It's just making block changer a type of Java plugin. Alright, so that gets rid of the first couple errors. In this error, these 2 errors are very simple. You just highlight over them, you hold your mouse over them for a little bit, and it should say import. Now if it doesn't say that for some reason, you can just type in these lines of code right here, right now. Now one last error, wants a return statement, because boolean is the return. So it's like you're asking a true-false question. This indicates that there'll be a true or false statement that I'm going to give you after you're done asking the question. Alright, so let's get started. First, it's customary to do this if you want to output to the console. So when someone's running a plugin, the console is like the window where you type it, like start server. So here we want to make a log. And a log is like the console, just another word for the console, really. This is the normal way to do it. Some people don't end up doing this. Some people have simpler ways of doing this. This is the way I learned how to do it. And if you know better, then whatever, you can do different stuff. I don't mind. So what we did is we made a logger called log, and it's just It's called Minecraft. Doesn't really matter what it's called. You could put beef in there. It doesn't matter. And this just makes the plugin aware that there is a console running this behind the scenes. And after we did that, now we can go into on enable and we can type in log.info in the message. Whoops, man, it gets messy. We want to type in, let's just do block changer has been enabled. So what this does is when the plugin is enabled, output to the log will get the information that block changer has been enabled. And you'll see exactly what this does once we test the plugin for the first time. Now we want to make a plugin manager, and a plugin manager is just, you can think of it as an actual manager. It's like you have the plugin who does all the work, and then you have a manager that supervises it, that gives the information that the plugin needs to work. So plugin manager PM, PM's just the name of plugin manager. You can call it beef as well. And get server, so we want the plugin manager called PM to manage the current server. So get server is like getting the server that this plugin's running on. Get plugin manager. So that's like the plugin manager for the whole server. So then PM, we want this plugin manager to register an event. And the event that we want it to register is when a block is damaged. And then we want the second parameter is we want a block listener. And we want the priority is normal. How do we use event.priority.normal. And then this. Okay, so we have a couple errors here. We can fix it up real fast. We want to import event. See, I had to highlight the second one. Sometimes that happens. And we need a semicolon and block listener. So block listener doesn't exist yet. Alright, so now we want to make a block listener. Now a block listener, all it does is it's like when anything in the world of Minecraft interacts with a block, we need like a listener. We need someone who's watching the server, so it records whenever a block is hit or whenever a block is interacted with. We need something to record those events. We can't just take that information from nothing. So private final block changer listener, block listener, new block changer listener, this. There we go. Alright, so now we need to make a block listener. So since block listener, we want it to have special properties. We don't want it to record every single interaction with the block ever. We want it to have certain properties. We need to make a block changer listener to record all that information specifically. So that error is going to be there until we make a block changer listener. Just like this is block changer, we need to make a block changer listener. That error is going to be there until we do that. So we're just going to keep that there. Alright, so this is fine. That error was just linked to that error. So now we're doing fine. We're doing fine. And we want to go over here, and when it's disabled, we can just be like, oh, block changer has been disabled. Oh no. There you go. And then on command, this is where we're going to do like the good work here. We're going to do, let's see, if command label, so like the thing right after the slash, dot equals, and we're going to do ignore case, so in case they forget to capitalize something. Block changer. We actually need quotes around here. So if it's going to be equal to block changer, what we want to do here is we want to like toggle it. We want to be like toggle block changer. We want to toggle whether it's enabled or not. Okay. So we'll return true because that happened. But we can't just invent methods. So we want this to toggle block changer. So we need to make the method that toggles it. So we're going to go over here and we're going to do private void toggle block changer. We're going to do command sender. We want a sender. And what we're going to do here is we're going to do if the plugin is enabled. So if the plugin is enabled for the player sender. Don't forget these. Don't forget all these parentheses. Man, those are important. We're going to, let's see, what do we want to do here? So we want to let's make a list. Let's make a list where it lists all the players that have this enabled. Let's go up here and make a list. Let's make public final array list. We're just making an array list. An array list is like a formal way of making a list in Java. It's going to be a list of players. We're going to call it block changer users. Array list player. Alright. And now we need to import array list. There it is. And now we need to import player too, it looks. Alright, cool. So let's go back down here. So if it's enabled, if the plugin is enabled for sender, we want to add the current player. Wait, no, if it's... Okay, so if it's not enabled for the current player, we want to add the player to the list of what's enabled. And by the way, exclamation point is just like saying if this statement is not true. So now player.send message, we're just going to send a message to the player. Or it's called sender. We're just going to make it player. The player sender. We're going to... What's the error here? So the player sender, we want to send a message, and the message is going to be like block changer has been enabled. So now this is not the log, this is in the console, it's been enabled for this specific user. And we can do something fun. We can make this blue. We can make this come out like as the color blue to the player. And then we should do like else, as in else if this isn't true, if this up here isn't true, if the plugin is already enabled, we want to remove the player sender. Alright, and then over here we want to send the message in red. Block changer has been disabled. And I forgot to do this. You might have caught this if you were paying attention. That this needs to be the same way it looks up here. Alright, so now if enabled doesn't exist. Just like toggle block changer up here didn't exist, enabled doesn't exist yet. So we're just going to do, we're going to make enabled real fast. It's going to be really easy. You just do public boolean enabled. Alright, so what this method does is it's, okay, so someone's going to ask it a true or false question, and it's going to return a true or false question. And whenever anyone asks this question, they need to give the player that's asking it. And it returns whether or not the list block changer user contains the current player. So right now we have no errors except for those two up there that we said we were going to fix later. And right now this plugin, this part of the plugin works. But we didn't do anything yet. We just made it so when the user types in /block changer, the plugin gets enabled. The name gets added to the list of people who have it enabled. And if they type in /block changer again, it gets disabled. We have nothing else there yet. So we're going to solve these. We're going to solve both problems, and we're going to the first problem being this error, the second problem being it doing nothing except for just enabling and disabling nothing. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new class. And this class, if you couldn't guess, is going to be block changer listener. Right, that's what it was called down there. Okay. And block changer listener is one cool guy. What he's going to do is he is going to listen out and he's going to extend an ear and watch all the blocks in the entire game, and when a block is damaged, it's going to do something. So see if over here it keeps track of when a block is damaged. This is the guy who's going to keep track of that. This is the guy who's going to be doing all that work. So first what we need to do is we're going to make plugins. So in order to link these two together to make it so that these work, we need to tell the server that we're using this plugin, that we're using this version of the plugin right now. Okay, and now we're gonna type in public block changer listener. I'm gonna make the constructor, it's called. Alright, now this is a little complicated. It took me a while to get this, but think about it this way. Whenever any user calls or types in /blockchanger, when anyone starts this plugin up, they're running their own separate version of the plugin. So two people can be on the server, one can have it enabled, one can have it disabled. You need to have that capability. You can't make it so everyone has this enabled, everyone has it disabled, or else it'll be chaos. So what this does is it makes it so whenever this is called, whenever this whole situation is handled, whenever any of this stuff happens live in the game, it makes its own instance. It makes its own version of the plugin. And that's what this does right here. That's what this does. If you didn't get that, sorry again. I actually don't want to take up too much more time rambling on like I have already. Now we want to make something that keeps track of when a block is damaged. So on block damage, we're going to get an event. So what this does is it goes, when a block is damaged, a block damage event, like all the information about that block being damaged, who damaged it, what damaged it, where it was when it was damaged, the world it was damaged in, all that information will be in this event. That's how this whole works. So now we do if this particular instance of the plugin, so if plugin, see like this, if the current instance of the plugin is enabled for the player who damaged the block, we're going to make the block that the event was called for, the block that got damaged, we're going to set it to 35. So what this does is it goes, if this current instance of the plugin is enabled for the player who is part of this event, then change the block that was part of this event to the ID. If you're not familiar with this, you're obviously not an admin on a server, but every block in Minecraft has a number behind it. So you can type in /give insanej35. That gives the user insanej the block ID 35. So this is necessary. So, yep, that's the block ID for wool. If you didn't know, if I didn't say already, I think I did though. So let's take over now. If we save this, should almost work. Let's see. All right, so we have one more error. Okay, so when this plugin manager registers this event, oh, we forgot to do over here. This needs to extend block listener. Extends block listener. So just like back in block changer, where we need to do block changer is a type of plugin, we need this block changer listener to be a block listener type. So, man, I hope you got all that stuff, because I know it's confusing, but, alright, that's it. We just made a plugin. Holy crap. If you were following along with this, if you're watching this still, man, you should get into Word, man. If you don't already have Minecraft, you got this far, I'm giving you a free copy of Minecraft. I'm serious. Comment below saying, man, and Sanjay's talking a lot, and I'll give you a free copy of Minecraft. Alright, so, moving on. There you go. Here's all this code. Now, here comes the cool part. We're going to use this plugin. Now, this blows my mind every time I make a plugin and use it for the first time. So what you first need to do is you need to right-click this and type in export. We're going to export this as a jar file. Hit next. And we're going to call the jar file, we can call this whatever we want, but we're going to call it block changer. Hit finish. Alright, now if you go to your desktop, now we'll have blockchanger.jar. You can right-click this if you are on a Mac and you want to extract this using archive utility or some type of archiver or unzipper. Now you have me and meta.inf. You can delete meta.inf. You can drag this to the trash. And if you look in here, you'll have like the way the package is organized, and you'll have the class files and the jar files. And the jar files are like Java, and the class files are like computer speak, so the computer can understand it. Now, right before we're done, we need to make one final thing. Open up your favorite text editor. Make sure it's plain text. And we need a little bit of information in here. We need the name of this plugin so that the bucket right before it runs the plugin, it knows the name. Main is the next line. Main is what's the code we're going to execute the first time we run this plugin. What's the code we're going to execute when this plugin's run. And we want the package, and then right after this is the Java file, so it's called block changer. The author is InSaneJ in this case. You can put your name in there. I don't mind. This is your plugin now, not mine. Version, our version is 1.0, whatever. And commands, this is the important part. So commands, I'm going to just do like space, space, space. And I'm just going to do like space, space, space. Block changer. So whenever the user types in /block changer, it's going to, let's see, we need the description. So make all blocks damaged set to wool when typed. And then usage is just /block changer. Or actually we can do /command. What this does is the Bukkit server's reading this, it goes, okay, alright, right before we run the plugin, let's see what's going on. Okay, so the name is block changer, the main, where I'm going to get all that starter information, that's right there. Okay, the author is, no, that's InSaneJ. The version is 1.0. Okay, the commands, okay, so that means whenever a command is called, this plugin's going to use commands. Okay, whenever /block changer is called, okay, what's it going to do? Okay, the description is, okay, so that's cool. I guess I'll tell the user that if he wants to know it. Okay, and how does the user call it? He types in / and then block changer. These brackets command just mean block changer. So now we save this as plugin.yml. You can save that to your desktop. And we can close this, and we're just going to drag it right in there. Now, if you're on a Mac, this should work perfectly. If you're on Windows, you can use WinZip to do this sort of situation. But you just need to compile these two files into a jar. That's what you need to do. So I'm doing it for a Mac right now. If you're on Windows and what I'm doing does not work for you, then look up how to compile files into a jar, or comment onto this video angrily, and I'll help you out. So now right-click, and you should have the option to compress to items. If you don't, just download like Archiver, download like something that can archive files for you, and then you want to use that. So like archive utility, you just want to right-click and be able to compress it. And now we're going to rename this to blockchanger.jar. Use jar. Now let's drag this onto our desktop. We can replace the one that's there, and let's delete all of this stuff. Now we're going to test it out. If you don't already have it, you can go to bukkit.org and hit Git Craft Bukkit. I'll just show you. You can go to bukkit.org and hit Git Craft Bukkit and download latest version of Craft Bukkit right there. Okay. So actually, I'll just do this right now for you. So you want to download that, drag it to your desktop, make a new folder. See, I already have a folder over here. I'm just gonna make a new one for you guys because I'm in a good mood right now. I'm gonna drag both these things in here, and we're gonna call this Craft Bukkit. So this is actually how to run a server if you don't already know. I'm gonna make a folder called plugins. This will be automatically generated if you forget to do this in the future. But we're just making a folder called plugins and dragging in block changer. Now what we need to do is we're going to open up terminal. We could, I believe, just right-click that, double-click that, but I wouldn't because there might be errors, there might be other things. Go into terminal, type in cd to change the current directory to Bukkit. We're going to just drag and drop it. Type in enter. And now we can type in Java, so we're using Java. We're running a jar file. I'm going to drag and drop craftbukkit.jar. And as this is going, it's going to load up all this stuff. Forget any of these warnings. We can run through this. Okay, so it's starting a Minecraft server on beta 1.7.2. Doesn't have enough RAM and wants more RAM, so we can just use this command in the future. So I'll copy that. This doesn't exist, so it's creating it. This is running it. Okay, so this doesn't exist, so it's creating it. This doesn't exist, so it's creating it. Okay, so it just created all of these files right before your eyes, right here. And we can go ahead and edit these. So I'm going to open this up with text edit. And I'm going to be like, no, we don't want it to allow nether. You can not do this if you want, but I'm just going to make it, I'm just going to make it so we don't get distracted. Now, we can make server IP nothing if we want, it doesn't matter. PvP false, allow flight true, save it. Okay. So now that all that's saved, let's stop the server. Ignore any errors you got as long as they look like the ones up here. I got Java heap space. That means I ran out of RAM as it's set up there. So that might happen to you. If it does happen to you, don't freak out. Just close out of here, and we're going to start a new thing. We're going to use this command right here. And we need to, I'm hitting the up arrow. You can hit the up arrow or the down arrow to access recent commands. I'm going to cd, and I'm going to type in that command they gave us when they said not enough RAM. But I'm going to type in craft bucket.jar. I'm going to type in this file right here. Hit enter, and it's going to start running. Okay, so it doesn't like what's going on right now. You can ignore these errors. Right now it's saying I can't run a server using a non-existent server IP. So I'm going to go into my network preferences. I'm going to find out my local IP address right there. I'm going to pop that baby in there. I'm going to save this file, and now I shouldn't get any errors. Alright, cool. Looks like the server's up, so you got a bonus. I'm teaching you how to make a plugin and run a Bukkit server from your computer. And there you go. So now it's been enabled. It's working. Let's boot up good old Minecraft. Man, how long has this video been? Jeez, I feel like I've been doing this the whole day. Whew, alright, so, there's a new version, bug fixes. Okay, doesn't matter. This will still work. There's no major changes. It's logging in, logging in, logging in. So hit multiplayer, and I already have it in there. If you want to put in your IP address that you got from your network preferences, that's in your server.properties, and you want to hit connect once the server's all up and running like this. And boom, we're connected. Check out this stuff. So cool. So now we're connected. Looks like I'm glitching a little bit. There we go. And we're in our own little world. So let's take a look at this. We can type in hello. The server works. And we can type in /plugins, and it'll show all the plugins currently enabled on the server. So if you did that, it should say block changer right there. If you dragged and dropped it into the plugins folder before or after you started running the server for the first time. So now if you hit blocks, nothing should happen. You might be worried. You might be like, oh crap, we just told the server when you hit a block to change it to wool. We told it to change it to 35. But no. We forgot to type in /block changer. Now it says block changer has been enabled in blue. Check it. When we hit blocks, they turn into wool. Holy crap. So I'm hitting the ice. So we can be like, wool trees now. Boom. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. We can just keep doing this. We can do this all day. I don't care. We can do it all day. Look at all this stuff. I'm just changing everything to wool. Whenever we hit something, it changes to wool. And we can literally grief the entire server. If you check in the plugin, if this plugin's enabled, I highly encourage you to grief the entire server by doing this and tell them InSaneJ was there. I'll take the blame for that. This is, oh man, I love doing this. This is a lot of fun. Alright, so now we are going to go in and we're going to type in /block changer again. And since we typed in equals ignore case, it didn't matter that I forgot to capitalize the B and the C. And now when I hit blocks, nothing happens again. Everything's back to normal. And I can roam across here years from now and wonder what the heck happened over here. So there you go. You just made your first plugin. Holy crap. You just did it. If you just did that alongside of me, you're going to download the stuff in the description. You literally just programmed your first plugin in Java. So now you're probably thinking, well, what do I do from here? What's next? Well, you could go on your own and look up how to do other things. You could make tons of other plugins with this information. Or you might be like, well, man, InSaneJ told me how to do all this stuff, and now he's leaving me in the dust with the crap. What do I do now? Well then, you, little lady, sit down and wait. Within the next couple of days, there's going to be a new video out where I'm going to make a whole nother plugin in this sort of manner, using all this. So yeah, instead of starting from scratch, I'm going to start from this code, and I'm going to create a whole new plugin that does all these different things. In fact, I think the first new plugin I'm going to make is going to be a plugin where you type in like /quickport, and you hit a block, and then you type /quickport again, and hit another block, and if you, at any point in the future, hit one of those blocks again, you'll be teleported to the other block, the other respective block. So if that made sense, whatever. But yeah, so if you want to learn how to do all this other stuff, leave comments in the description, and I'll make a video about them. If I'm not already going to make a video doing something similar, then I will definitely respond and tell you if I'm going to cook it up. And that's about it. Yeah, this is a long video. I really took advantage of how I can make like unlimited length videos here. But I hope this was instructive and useful for you guys. In the future, if this doesn't get very many views, I might make a video where I do copy and paste or reuse code, but make it like 2 minutes long, so that you guys can keep your attention. Alright, so thanks a lot, guys. Man, this is I love doing this sort of thing. I really hope you guys like watching it. It doesn't seem like it would be very fun from your end. But, alright. Quality. That was great. Alright. Yeah. Links in the description. I'll stop the server now. Cool.